Hello lovelies, in today's video I am so excited to share with you the do's and don'ts of wearing heels. I consider myself an expert because number one, I live in heels. I wear them all the time, either that or sneakers. I'm a Gemini, so that's just kind of how it goes. Number two, I used to be a ballerina, so I'm used to foot pain and also very body aware in terms of how to manipulate the physics of my movements so that I can walk in heels. And number three, I attended the Coco Rocha model camp a couple of years ago at New York Fashion Week and spent a whole day practicing how to walk in super high heels. So for those reasons, as well as many of you requesting a video on this topic, and then I just came back from New York Fashion Week where I saw beautiful, majestic looks coming down the runway in towering heels. So I thought there's no better time than the present. And by the way, I'm Ziva. Welcome to my channel. I cover fashion and styling videos and have gone to many New York and Paris fashion weeks over the last 7 years, but I'm also just a mom trying to get dressed. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more wearable trends as well as tips on how to look stylish every day. The way I'm going to structure this video is the type of shoe you should be wearing. Number two, the different techniques. There's two. And number three is mindset and exercises. What shoe should you be wearing? I'm going to show you an example of my most painful pair of shoes that I don't really wear if I'm going to walk. Like if I go to dinner and I'm going to be delivered at the restaurant and I have a shoe that's going to absolutely benefit from this Kate Louboutin, then I'll wear the shoe. But these are the reasons that you should stay away from it. This is a great example of a don't. Number one, the heel is too narrow, right? You have literally nothing to go on. Very small structure in which you have to balance your entire body weight versus a heel like this where we have more of a chunky type of heel, okay? So going back to this heel, that's the first problem with the shoe. The second thing is that the angle from here, you see that huge angle right there? This spells pain as well as plantar fasciitis. It's just too extreme. Even me, I spent most of my life in this kind of demi-point situation. I struggle so much being in this angle of like foot cramping and calf cramping. This is so many no-nos in one. The other thing that's happening, the surface here, I don't know if you can see this on the video, is not super even. So not only do I have no structure back here to which balance my entire body weight, it's all sitting on the ball of my foot, and the ball of my foot has no stability because it's rocking back and forth like this. It's not stable. Versus if you have something like this, okay, not only do I have the chunky heel, not a huge angle like this one, but then the bottom is nice and flat so my foot can rest. The other thing with the bottom of the shoe is that it's a pretty slick surface. It's got no texture. Again, this shoe, and by the way, this is Zara. It's not anything special. I've had this for like 5 years. This is textured, it's flat, okay? So the other thing, along with the fact that it's rocky and it's got no texture, is that the inside of it has no cushion, okay? So not only do I have no way to balance my body right here, and it's all dependent on the ball of my foot, which is sitting in a rocky surface, which is also not textured and super slippery, but then the inside of it, the ball of my foot, has no cushion. So what does this spell? It spells pain and beauty, but pain, okay? So ultimately it doesn't end up leading to beauty because you can't look good if you are suffering. Let's recap some of the things that work for kind of all of these shoes, right? So we have not a huge angle right here. We have a flat, kind of chunkier, more surface area. Then the cushion here is nice. This is by Inez. These are some of my favorite heels that I've worn ever. I can just walk in them for a long, long time. And that's why they're a little bit beat up, is because I travel with them. I just kind of do everything with them. I have a 15% off discount code if you're interested. I will link it below. That is what's really working for the actual shoe. Now, the other thing that is kind of a hot take, and I've heard some people say that this is actually not comfortable, but I completely disagree, is a platform. A platform sets you up to have less of that dramatic drop off that we have here. So for example, if this had a platform right there, we wouldn't have this huge dramatic cliff. And so our arch and our calves wouldn't be in so much pain, right? So platforms can actually really work in your favor, but make sure that some of the other things stay in place. Number one, it's got texture. Ooh, nice texture here. It doesn't have the wobbly, uneven surface at the bottom. Why would anybody make, that's like evil. Why would anybody make a shoe that's rocky on the bottom, that's a heel? Anyway, the other thing that I really love about this is that it's got a strap. So you can kind of be more confident in a shoe like this versus like this where you're on your own. You don't have anything holding your foot back into the shoe and kind of feeling nice and snug. So those are some basics, do's and don'ts of the actual shoe. People always say kitten heels and slingback heels are a great starter shoe. Kind of, but the thing that you'll find with some of these kitten heels is that the slingback is can do like the ploppy, what I call like this, you know what I'm talking about if you've worn slingback heels. And so, I mean, are they the most comfortable option? I don't think so, neither are mules, but they do provide a lower heel and a very sophisticated look that's of the moment. So I'm not knocking them, but it's not like they're gonna be the most comfortable shoes that you ever wear either. Moving on to the two techniques, one of them is what we'll call the Carrie Bradshaw and the other one the catwalk. They're both really different. The Carrie Bradshaw is great for when you have very, very high heels and you don't really have the option to take a big step, okay? A lot of times you'll see people out in the wild in huge heels and they're doing these little baby Peggy Bundy steps kind of like all over the place. It doesn't look attractive. They look like they're in pain. It doesn't look confident. You can't exude power and kind of femininity if you're doing small little steps. However, when you have a shoe like this, you cannot take a big, nice walk. You can't have a beautiful, confident gait because you don't have you don't have somewhere to do this. You know, you don't have the ability to go heel toe, heel toe. All that you can really do is toe, 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 toe. So that is why Carrie Bradshaw would run around New York like that. And it's a whole meme and it's a whole culture of videos that we see of the Carrie Bradshaw run. Oh, me, you know, being Carrie Bradshaw running, you know, all over the place. It's because she didn't have a choice. She had to run or look like Peggy Bundy, right? So when you have these heels that are so tall, you have to speed up a little bit. But the key to this walk run is that you have to keep your center of gravity forward. It's kind of like when you're out in this weather here, there's black ice all over the ground and you have to keep your center of gravity over, like in skiing. I'm told, I'm a horrible skier, but your shoulders go right over your hip bones. That force is going forward. Your core is engaged. That is really key because you have to kind of stay on top of your body so that you don't look like you're kind of shuffling around like this. And infusing your steps with energy are really key so that you can kind of keep that more of a confident, cute walk versus like a very shuffly old lady walk, okay? The other reason that Carrie Bradshaw would walk run is because she only has the use of the balls of her feet. So the whole time you're not on your heels at all because of the way that the heels are structured. So it's like you're on your tippy toes the whole time. So if you're gonna be on your tippy toes, you're gonna look creepy if you're walking slow, but if you can speed up your walk a little bit with energy, then you might not look super graceful. You'll look more youthful and kind of have a good energy to you. I will, at the end of the video, I'll show you some exercise that you can use in order to develop these muscles. Again, used to be a ballerina, so I have very strong legs and very strong feet. Deformed feet, but still. Now let's go to the more elegant one that you're probably gonna use more, okay? This is the catwalk technique. And it's based off both of my experience in wearing heels and trying to look good wearing them. And number two is my experience at the Coco Rocha model camp in New York, where we spent a whole day literally practicing this walk. It was quite painful after a few hours. But the way that you want to think about this walk is leveraging the heel toe motion a little bit more than just like running around on the balls of your feet. And the other thing to note is that you want to kind of lean back and use your hips a little bit more. I actually got to walk a fashion show a couple of years ago and I was wearing the highest heels that I've ever worn because I am so short. And so I studied a lot of different videos of models walking down the runway. And one thing that I noticed is that not only do they sway their hips back and forth and therefore creating a lot of feminine fluidity, but also they bend their knees. So they're kind of like, you'll notice it in Giselle, Naomi Campbell, Chrissy Turlington, they did a lot of bending their knee back and forth in a way of like placing their foot over the next and kind of picturing a straight line. Something that really helps when you visualize, and practice is everything. And I know you might feel silly, but it does really help because you're able to kind of fix some mistakes. So having your hips sway back and forth, bending your knees, leaning back a little bit, and also slowing down. So if you're not gonna be Carrie Bradshaw running around all over New York, then you're gonna slow down and you're gonna be a queen, right? And the thing that both of them have in common is that you want to keep a beautiful posture. You want to plug the shoulders into the back, lengthen your neck, not from like this, but from the back of your neck. That's really an important distinction. So those two techniques are ones that I use time and time again because, again, I wear my heels a lot, or again, I'm in sneakers or ballet flats. Along with choosing which technique is best for the occasion and the shoes that you have, and also practicing, mindset is everything. The most important thing is confidence and believing in yourself. You're beautiful, deserving of beautiful shoes of whatever occasion that you're in, and practice does really facilitate this confidence. And this is something that is true in anything that you do, whether it is YouTube videos or wearing beautiful clothes, public speaking, whatever it might be. Practice does make perfect. And so you don't want to be breaking shoes in that first day when you're like have the event. You want to spend some time with them. And one of the tips that I always give my friends is when you first get a pair of shoes, walk around and then clean your house, walk around in your kitchen, make a meal, have them be part of your daily life. Break the shoes in, break yourself into the shoes. And that is something that my ballet teacher used to tell us when we were young, sleep in your point shoes. And I think I did, not for like years, but definitely for a few weeks. I would sleep in my point shoes so that they started to feel like an extension of my foot, because point shoes, much like heels, were such a device of pain and beauty, right? So it was a way for my foot and for me to kind of morph into one, if you will, in a very kind of poetic way, but it really does work. I'm not saying you have to sleep in your heels, but spend some time with them. Just cook a meal, have some coffee, like work in that. Get more familiar with what it feels like to live in heels. Now, in terms of exercises, I'll link a very concise and to the point video that I have on my Instagram fitness channel.
Okay, I'm going to show you a quick ankle, thigh, and calf series that you can do anywhere. Just going to hold on to something, come up, touch the toes, legs really straight, control down, squeeze your glutes. Don't just squeeze, but lengthen your lower back. Squeeze. 3 sets of 8. Then from here, you're going to pull yourself back like you're sitting in a chair, weight on the heels. You're going to switch your ankles. Get as low as you can like you're sitting in a chair, for 3 sets of 8. Then you're going to leave one leg up. You're going to pulse it for 3 sets of 8. You can use your arms if you're bored. Switch 3 sets of 8. Make sure you're nice and low. Then you're going to pick up both heels. And you're going to pulse it for 3 sets of 8. And that's it.
I have gotten a lot of great feedback. I also have an older video on YouTube, but it's really, really blurry because I think it's like from 2010 or something. A set of ballet exercises that I teach in my classes, and it's a really great way to strengthen not just your ankles and your feet and your calves, but also your knees, and do it with beautiful posture as well. So it kind of all works in concert, not just isolating your foot, but kind of working holistically in your body so that you get stronger. While you're getting stronger, that you're working on your posture as well. Because the last thing we want to do is hurt our look and look frumpy, or even have our look be cheap. And if you want more ways, make sure that you're not doing some mistakes that are cheapening your outfit, make sure to watch this video. It's full of really easy fixes on very common mistakes that we all do that cheapen our look. If you've learned something today, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you really soon.